Lyanne has spent the last 18 years attending births and 13 years working as a midwife, supporting women through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum with deep care advocacy and respect for informed choice. After years working both directly with families and within healthcare administration, she fought for parents to have informed choice and for care providers to be able to offer that choice freely and safely within the healthcare system. She ultimately chose to self-exile from the profession in response to the drastic changes she witnessed in maternal and infant outcomes within pregnancy, birth, and postpartum care. Outside of her advocacy work, Lyanne is a devoted yogi, sun seeker, and playful soul who can usually be found making silly jokes with children and reminding people of the power of presence, choice, and human connection. Welcome to Embody Your Wild. I'm your host, Carolyn LaFortune, and I'm an embodiment guide. I'm a mother of two. I'm a studio owner of Embody Pole in Ottawa, and I'm here to have real conversations about how to tap into your wildness or erotic power, into your aliveness. Let's fucking go.
Thanks, Caroline.
Welcome, Lyanne.
And it's like so much easier to be on a friend's podcast, and you've been on my podcast, and it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels really like easy and
yeah. And
I'm
really excited.
I get to talk about birth and vaginas, like my favorite things. Yeah, placentas. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about all the things birth.
Yeah.
And for the entire time I've known you, which has been what, 6 years now? 5 years.
It was like,
I guess like 2021-ish. You've always been super passionate about birth and all things related to birth. And the reason I wanted to bring you on here was to share to our listeners, how can people have an empowered birth? And in your opinion, what does that even mean?
after the birth, you feel like, holy fuck, like, look at what I did. You know, like it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
And like it does require work beforehand, and that really depends on the environment that you grew up with. So like just think about your mom's birth and how she talks about it. That will impact your births and your psyche, what you think of motherhood forever. But if you have a bit of more of a dramatic mom or someone who was really not informed when she went to birth, you can change that around and change it for your daughter, you know? So
Interesting.
yeah, super. Like if you just even look at the difference in like my maternal kind of lineage, my grandmother didn't know what a period was when she had her period. And when she went into birth, she was 17 or 18. She actually thought she was dying because she was in labor. She had no idea what was happening, like no idea. And so I ended up working with the man who caught my mom. And he was a doctor. Like today, I understand. I wish I could talk to my grandmother and tell her what happened to her.
Oh, wow.
Then my mom changed all of that around, and she became a obstetrical nurse. When she was around my age, she was 19. For 4 years, she was helping women in labor and worked with the man who caught her. And then, like, I was a 4-year-old kid who apparently went to school and talked about births.
So the passion started early.
Oh, so like ridiculously early. And my mom, I was 15 years old. And my mom was like, you should become a midwife. And then I was like, and do like home births. What if something goes wrong? Because I was 15 and I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So that's the first thought that came to mind. And then I read books, and, you know, honestly, Ina May Gaskin, who wrote her books, she's changed a lot of women's lives. And it's her book that I had my hands on. And I was like, this is what I meant to do, even though it was going to be really hard to apply to school. Like it's almost like I thought that I wouldn't get in, but I did. And because I was like, this is just what I meant to. Like, it was just so obvious that that's where I had to go. Everyone around me knew. An empowered birth, it does require coming back to reality and moving away from our fear culture. Like, and that's a lot of work on our minds that we have to do. And, you know, we can do that. And one mom can change a lot of things. Like, one person can change. Like, if you think about what my mom did, like, she did not just impact me. She impacted everyone that I speak to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and your grandmother and your mother and like all the generations previous.
Exactly.
To that. Yeah.
So it's just like, you never know who you can impact. Yeah. And like as women, when we tell our birth stories, we need to realize like, what is it that I'm trying to do with my birth story? Sometimes you could sometimes it's nice to add some drama and be like, oh my gosh, my midwife did this. And like, and like, or like, it was like, but what is it you're trying to get from saying your story, and who is it that you're saying it to? It's very different to tell your story to your daughter who hasn't had her babies versus like me. Like,
Right.
I know reality, right?
Or just like another woman who's about to have a baby.
Yes.
And
so
then
when she's pregnant, if she hasn't had all her babies, and then so it's really important if you are pregnant to set boundaries. Because like it's so common that someone will be like, just get the epidural. Just
right.
And then so what is she actually saying? She is saying, number one, you can't do this. Number two, don't outshine me. And it's not about outshining. Like you create a human.
Yeah.
You create it doesn't matter if you get
like
the
we
epidural.
all win. We're all winners.
Maybe I'll get the epidural. Like, and I'm a midwife. Like, it doesn't matter. And you didn't. You told me your birth stories. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And it's exactly. It's not about being stronger because I didn't take the epidural and comparing myself and putting myself higher up than somebody who did get it. It's what. And actually, I got pretty fucking close to getting it.
Of course, you went through transition.
Exactly.
Everyone wants it in transition.
And I was just like, we could talk about that in a bit. But, but yeah, I feel like an empowered birth is really having that feeling that kind of what you said. You're like, oh my God, I did this myself. And I'm not left with trauma afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not left with, I should have done, like, of course I have. If I would have gone through this again, there's things I would have done differently, but I still feel like with the knowledge I had in the moment and where I was mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, that I would probably have done the same thing as I did.
Yeah.
And it's not taking away from the fact that, because I feel like both of my births have been empowering, and because I had that connection to my body, I knew how to stay grounded through it all.
That's so important. So if we continue to live in fear and we keep getting advice from people at the grocery store, the fight or flight, when we get into it, like when we're in fear, like all of our oxygen goes to our legs and our arms rather than the uterus. And the oxygen to our uterus is really important for the baby and for you.
Yeah.
And so and that's we talk a lot about nervous system regulation and lowering cortisol in labor so that we can increase our oxytocin. And it's just like, it really shows like the importance of that. So one of the easy things that you can do is just start reading positive birth stories. So if you decide to look at that in Google, you will find like more of the ones that have been, the stories that have been clicked on the most. They'll be the more flamboyant, more like dramatic stories. Like I don't know what the proper word is, but you have to write positive birth stories, or you can just skip Google. And and I'm not sponsored by Anime Gaskin, but you can read a book like that has like real stories. And it's not just like home birth, but just birth. And it's true, if we look at research, that having a vaginal birth is protective of what we feel of our birth story afterwards. If you put everyone in pots, one group had vaginal births, one group had assisted births, one group had C-section births, the people who are more satisfied is in the vaginal group, and the other ones are a little less. But if you're going to, we don't know what type of birth we're going to have if we get pregnant. So really what I think is be a participant in your care, and start practicing now. Even when you go and get coffee and someone suggests you have something, no, I want to have what I want. Or just start and with your partner, if you're in any relationship of any kind, you have to advocate for yourself and see your care provider as that. They're just another human. They're not your authority. They're not up here. They're not down here. They're with you over here. And I want us to start changing the culture of listen to the doctor, just listen to them. And yes. I want people to start saying they are your educator. And they can educate you with what they know. What I know today is very different than what I knew when I was practicing. Because when I'm just going to be honest, I was practicing and I was being told to do certain things, and I was not looking, and I was not questioning enough.
Right.
And when I started questioning more, that's when I was like, I have to go. Because I know that if I start saying the truth to women, they will get me. Because I saw that they could like change my reputation in town, all sorts of things that,
Yeah.
that I just like, I'm like, that's not my karma. That's not where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that instead of focusing on caring for 40 to 80 people a year, that I'm just going to leave it up to the universe and start speaking publicly. It's very scary, like to be like, and like what we say about breech birth is wrong. Let me tell you about that. And like there's parts of it, like there's parts of healthcare that are good. Um, and like we need to continue doing those things, but the consumer is where the power is at. And so I just want to give the power to the consumer to say, this is where I have choice and this is where I understand that this is the proper way for me to go. And or if you want to change, because I really truly think that our intuition is very, very powerful, but I want you to understand where there is good evidence and where there's less good evidence, so that then you can like sit down with yourself and say, what's important to me? And then it might not be to do what's evidence-based, but at least you know. At least you know that
Mm-hmm.
you're like switching from that lane. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so that's where I want us to go towards.
Because how has midwifery care evolved throughout the years? It's become more medicalized.
Yeah, before there were a lot less midwives, and the type of clients that we were getting were really choosing choice. They were
Mm.
And the midwives that were practicing were just hardcore. They appeared more granola.
Right, right.
I just like not that they are granola, but just it had more of that vibe. And then it's changed. People were like, well, you get to have home visits. And like, of course, like home visits are so nice after you've had a baby, but it's not just that. Like the
Mm-hmm.
main pillar of midwifery is and should continue to be choice. And to be able to provide choice, we have to know what choices are evidence based and not, so that we can have honest discussions with our clients. And I was not having, when I had to give recommendations to clients, it became, when I was a student, I knew my preceptors were so good, especially my last year. They were like, Lyanne, like this recommendation is actually not evidence based in this way. And so I was like, oh. And then so like it had like all these little nuggets started from an
Mm-hmm.
early point, and then I love to dig in through research, and then I like to be like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like what I see over and over again doesn't match what we say. And then I started asking more questions and more questions, and then
Yeah.
seeing like, okay, that's not evidence based. Oh, okay, so now I can offer more choice here. Like it like liberated me. If a client was like saying no, and I would just put less pressure, less pressure, less pressure,
Mm-hmm.
So, and then eventually when I say things like it's recommended that we have to put the monitors around your belly to listen to your baby continuously for all sorts of things, that's just like one very minor example, but like doing things like that, it just became
Or like the ultrasounds or
the
like
ultrasounds for things that are not
what is it,
evidence.
the glucose testing?
The glucose testing, yeah. So in about 2015-ish, I saw that we were going to consider more women be positive for gestational diabetes. And then I asked the question, what's the evidence for that? Like, what are we basing this on? And the answer was, there is no evidence for it. Yeah. And then we started changing the care for women who were labeled gestational diabetes. We started inducing them earlier. The clients of mine that went to get care from the endocrinologist and dietitians were the only advice that they were given was, okay, so when you drink Coke, drink
The
diet.
Diet Coke.
And like today, we know that aspartame is associated with diabetes as well, so it's not helpful, and it's a toxin. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so then my clients would call me, and they're like, "Lyanne, this is what they told me." And like what the client really needed to know was maybe like, don't eat fruit first thing in the morning. Like my clients were not people who drank Coke. Like
Right.
um, sometimes. Sometimes they were, but like we were capturing a lot more women that needed
Like the health
like
conscious.
more, yeah, like we were capturing a lot of women and that needed different help.
Yeah.
They needed just different advice. And then like the idea of inducing all those women, well, I might get hate from this, but there's actually, so like there's pre-existing diabetes, and I'm not speaking about that right now.
Mhm.
That's not what I am very knowledgeable in. But gestational diabetes, it also depends because some women go on and they need to use more medication, and then some women don't. And there doesn't seem to be evidence that suggests that it is helpful to induce some of those women, or
Right.
like the chunk that has now been expanded. They're more normal. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't seem to be helpful to induce all those women. So at the moment, with the data that we have today, a lot of things don't feel right to me. I think that women should know if the recommendation is evidence based. And so this is why I decided to
Mhm.
teach. I'm like, how do I get that information from the midwife or the doctor who is told that they have to make that recommendation? And
Right.
so I'm like, I wish women would just like, when I gave a recommendation and I said, it is recommend that we do this. I wish she would turn around and say, what's the evidence for that?
Or why? Yeah.
Because then that gives me permission, that gives me permission to tell you what I know or don't know.
Right.
And so like, so there's this obstetrician who is a high risk obstetrician in Australia, and she was asked by a couple, they were having twins. And she was like, so when you're in labor, it's recommended that we put the monitors around your baby so that we listen to your babies
Mm.
continuously. And then the partner was like, so what's the evidence for that? She's like, "Psh, I'm going to find it for you. Going to give it to you at your next visit." And she realized when she went online and looked for the evidence that there was none.
Mm.
And then that turned her entire life around because she also quit. And her job is to educate care providers and the consumer as well. Like, what do you want to do? Where do we have the evidence and where do we don't? Where do we not? And then what are your choices in that world? You get to sit down with yourself, be fully knowledgeable. And, it's such a great thing. Like, if someone does have diabetes and has the option to be induced. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong to be induced. It's an option, is what I want people to understand.
Right.
It's a recommendation is an option, but I want people to also understand where is the evidence so that you understand how important the recommendation is or how not important the
Mhm.
recommendation is.
Or if it's full of bananas.
Yeah, like how banana-ish is it? Is it a 10 out of 10, or is it, should I really like consider this intervention? Like, is there are times where
Mhm.
I'm really grateful that we do have the opportunity to have a C-section, but then you look at what we're doing with the opportunities of having a C-section. And right now, in Ottawa, the C-section rate is 40%.
Yeah.
If we look at the outcomes that we're seeing in Canada that we're trying to avoid are happening more and more and more. Something that we need to look at as healthcare professionals, we need to be like, okay, why is it that I became a midwife, you know, a respiratory therapist, a doctor, a nurse? Like, why?
Mhm.
Was it to just recommend things without knowing what the evidence was for? Or is it because I really wanted to participate in lowering adverse outcome and
Or you really wanna
increasing?
make a
Yeah,
difference in helping people.
where was it? Some people, it might
Yeah.
be more important for you to increase satisfaction in clients. Maybe that's more important for other people. It'll be like to decrease adverse outcome. Whatever it is, like, come back to reality. Come back to where your heart
And your
initially,
mission.
yeah, what was it? There are 4 hospitals. When it comes to having a C-section, if you went to ask every hospital who offers skin to scare in the OR, so that means your baby is born, you're lying flat on what I call the Jesus cross table, um, what I call it, and it's because we don't want someone to move very much, and we want the physicians to be really close to you when they're doing a C-section. That's why
Yeah.
it looks like a very narrow table. So you have your baby born, the obstetricians that are in um, a sterile gown, then pass the baby over to a team that's not sterile, and then that team comes and brings you over the baby. There's one hospital that does skin to skin for moms on the OR table for all moms and babes that can. So all babies that can breathe well, which is the vast majority of babies, they go right here. So it's not skin to skin.
Yeah, they go
here.
like right between,
It's
like on the chest.
It's like here.
Yeah.
It's just not as comfortable, but it's very, very important for baby and mom. There's 2 hospitals. You have to ask for the skin to skin in the OR.
Okay.
And so if you're not knowledgeable, you're not asking those questions when you're pregnant, then you don't know
Right.
how important that is, and that you have the option. And then there's another hospital that doesn't do it for anyone.
Okay.
But the consumer, imagine there were 3 women who went in there and said, I know that a few minutes away from me, I can get the skin to skin if I end up in the OR. And I know that that is evidence-based practice. It's best for me and my baby. And I know where I can get it. You just say that. You don't even need to walk away. You just threaten. Like it's not a threat. It's just like, I know what my options
like I'm
are.
in my power.
I'm in my power. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what my options are. I want the best for my baby and me. And I want that available to me.
Yeah.
And then boom, that gets to the head midwife, head OB, head GP. And then they're like, oh, people are actually talking about it. Oh, we could lose clients. They don't want to even lose 100 clients a year.
Right.
So that could change overnight. And that's one phone call. The nurse manager calls the other nurse manager. How do you do it? Overnight can happen. And I've seen that because I had an administrative role and that I fought for people to not lose their jobs because they were offering choice. Part of that was also giving feedback to the hospital that the clients gave me.
Right.
And I saw sometimes overnight changes like that. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years. What you can do is use your voice. You can say, I want this. I know that this is the best thing for me and my baby. And that's it. And then it doesn't matter how long it takes. But the more that we lean into that, the more, like, if you think about it, like, no one is happy about our healthcare system in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, nobody.
Like even the healthcare providers.
Exactly. So use that to your advantage. Like know that the care provider likely really cares about what they do. Like, honestly, I've worked with really great people of all the types, like not just midwives. Like there's a lot of really good people out there who want to make things better. And so sometimes it just means that I need to use my voice. There's like the person who changed my entire life around. I'll never be able to tell her unless she's listening to me. But she was a first-time mom. She heard me in the hallway of the clinic, and she was like, she overheard me say something like, I don't understand why, I don't know exactly what I said, but it was just like not about offering choice to women who were breeches. Like, I was like, flip a baby that's breech, try if you can. And then if not, like, I don't know where I was coming from. Like, honestly, like, okay, but that's just where we are. It's a fear-based system. And the fear culture that we have instills fear in our healthcare providers. So I was a part of that. And, I can't shame myself because I've changed. So then that person is like, I sat down right in front of her after that discussion, and she was like, and her baby was head down. She was a first-time mom. She was like, I would not have a C-section for a breech baby. That's it. That's it. And then I was like, well, what would I want to do? I wouldn't want to have a plain cold C-section for a breech baby. I wouldn't want my sister to just only have that option. And then the next breech birth that I could have went to, I was like, I would like to go just observe and learn. Imagine if that client had never used her voice. What happened afterwards is that I went to more and more breech births. I understood more and more. I asked more and more questions because in Ottawa, we have the opportunity, no matter who you are as a baby catcher, to learn from the person who has the most experience in all of Canada. And I will say without a guarantee that she has the most experience in all of North America. So that's Lyanne Davis, who I now say Lyanne Davis Pinto. So we've become great colleagues. I've got to learn so much from her, and she got to really explain to me what the data shows, and I go to more and more births and listen to more and more stories. And sometimes clients would just look at me and they're like, I'm so happy I had a vaginal breech birth. And then I'm like, how could I not offer vaginal breech birth when that's the response that I get? Like, that's the feeling that my client has. And there's a client who had a C-section breech birth with her first. And then when she had her second, her baby was breech again, and her baby didn't flip again. And then she just made the decision to have a VBAC breech birth. And
so what's a VBAC, just for
a VBAC is a vaginal breech after a C-section. So you have the scar on your uterus, and then you have the option to have either a repeat C-section, or you have the option to have a vaginal birth after your C-section. And so she ended up having a vaginal birth after C-section with a breech. I've seen a few of those, but when she got off the bed that she delivered in, and she's like, Lyanne, like, you just don't understand how good I feel right now in comparison to my other birth. And I was just like, and her first C-section was normal. There was no complication in that C-section or anything like that. But just that power that we gave her, and her baby was born. Like, so the risk with a vaginal breech birth in comparison to a planned C-section for them is just that the cord, it goes like, so when you're born bum first, the cord kind of goes up. So it's like as the baby comes out, there's like squishing of the cord.
Oh, I see.
More so than a baby that is born vaginally. So we need those babies to be in top shape before like the last few minutes of birth.
Okay.
So that's why. And she decided that that's what she wanted in her baby. Did not have like Apgars of 9 and 9, but her baby needed some CPAP, so needed some like pressure for the lungs.
Okay,
not
pressure.
Oxygen. It was pressure for the lungs. Just that baby needed about 1 or 2 hours. And even with that, she was just really happy.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge difference that we had provided for her. Some other people will say, well, I'm really happy that I have the opportunity to have a C-section. And that's great. And that's what I want people to know.
What's your opinion on all the different types of births? So there's like the free birth, the home birth, the birth center, hospital. Go for it.
Okay, so free birth is a birth that is unattended. So there's no midwife with you. It might just be your partner and you. It might be nobody in you. It's just there's no care provider with you. I do have an opinion, but my philosophy now is just we need to tell people the truth, and so and not to be judgmental of those women, and those women do have a reason why they're doing that. And as care providers, we need to also look at it that way, and we need to be like, okay, what's the data? What is changing if they're having a free birth? So like we are seeing some adverse outcomes, mostly in the babies, that is increasing for those women. But we also need to ask ourselves, why are those women taking that risk? And then we need to go and potentially, like, because that will enable us to change the things that we need to change. Like, why are these women fearing coming and advocate to us? Like, why?
Right.
And it's because they see us as authority. They see us as like, hey, you don't listen to me?
Yeah.
Like that's what they think that we're going to do. And sometimes that does happen.
Well, I guess in the States too, they just don't have the money for a birth with care.
I don't know. They might have to pay because there are people making money off of this free birth system. So that part I'm not a fan of, because it's using people's fear to make money off of them.
Yeah.
And I know that happens in the healthcare system too. So we just need to stop using fear as a method of manipulation. So a woman who is having an IVF baby, she tried for 5 years, she's only going to have one, is going to be very different than a 22-year-old who is going to have a lot more babies. And even then, I can't even label those women because they are going to do different things than we think they're going to do. I think that we just need to lay out what it means.
Right. What are all the options?
Yeah. So like,
and all the risks and all the,
so
informed choices.
What does free birth mean? We need to capture that data. And I know that the women are probably not wanting to put that data in. Like they don't want to be caught by the system kind of thing.
Right.
And that's really unfortunate.
It could be like I've seen some some videos on Instagram or something that it's like, you know, a woman just goes into the ocean and has her baby with the dolphins, like that kind of thing. I was like, wow, that's so lovely.
Yeah, it's really romantic.
Real.
So because what we're capturing in the system is maybe we're capturing a little bit more of the stillbirths. Maybe we're capturing, like, I don't know what we're capturing,
Mm-hmm.
because there's people hiding from that reality, from like from showing and telling us the truth. There might be more on Instagram. We're only going to see the very positive ones. It's just, we don't know. So when it comes to free birth, if a woman is in her body and she's like, well, she's okay with the risks and of that I can't tell her not to, and I won't. But I wish that I could have data to just be like, this is what happens, and this is the
Right, like these are the risks,
yeah, and
without
yeah,
having a care provider
and I
there.
could tell her what the bias is in this data collection. Like,
Mm,
maybe we didn't capture enough of these, like other people that are hiding from the system.
right.
Maybe. So I wish we could have that discussion. So that's where I'm at with free birth. I decide not to judge. And then when it comes to home birth, that's a birth that is attended by a care provider in Canada that is with midwives. I think in the States there are physicians who attend home birth. In Canada, it's not illegal for physicians to attend, but I don't know of anyone who does it and has the training for it. Because
Right.
we have to, we have to be able to assess risk. And even when there's like the slightest pink flag, we recommend to go to the hospital. So if you look at the data, actually, there was one study like more than 10 years ago that showed that attended home births, there was like a C-section risk for those women, like 2%. So that shows that we are really, really good at saying who should have a home birth or not.
Yeah.
Like, we're really good at deciphering who gets the opportunity to have that choice, and the women's intuition and that as well, because it's based on our culture. It's not every woman who would choose that.
Oh, I'm pro home birth all the way.
Yeah.
My daughter was a home birth. It was just really nice to be at home for the entirety of the process of labor, of birth, and like even early postpartum. We rented the pool. We filled it up in the basement of our home, and I had a nice bed set up in that area as well. We covered everything in tarps, so it wouldn't leave a mess. And I didn't deal with the mess, but the husband and the midwife dealt with that afterwards. But it was really nice to be comfortable, and I could put my own playlist. I could drink my own tea or whatever it was, and just be able to relax and to just be present in the moment. And because my son was born at the birth center, and I found that, I don't know if it's just because it's like the first baby, it just took a lot longer.
Mhm.
And the birth center this was like dead winter with him. It was the coldest day of that year. And so trying to get into the car while I have contractions was a little bit challenging. And the drive to the birth center was like, are we going to make it? It's like, yeah, we're going to make it. Because for me, it was like 10-15 minute drive or something. It was pretty close. If I was to have a third, which I'm not, but if it was to happen again, I would definitely go with a home birth again, because I absolutely love the experience. I got to catch my own baby in the pool. I did all of the things myself, but she was just there to hold space for me and to guide me through it.
And her
And
presence probably brought you peace.
it did, yeah.
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 That's the part with the free birth that I don't understand. I've obviously never been to a free birth, because if you had me, it's not a free birth.
Yeah.
But like, that's because we actually evolved. So as placentals, we have evolved. Humans have evolved differently than the other placentals. When we became biped and our babies' brains were growing more, we actually started delivering preterm, and then birth had to become painful. And not that everyone's birth is painful, but it had to become intense. I think everyone would consider their birth intense, because it's such a portal to like the most intense thing you're going to do to your life, which is motherhood.
Yes.
Like, it's like opening the gates for you. And like that, and we evolved to actually go seek help. To like not just someone who's going to one birth or maybe 5 births. Like if you have a partner who your partner might have only been to your 5 births.
Right.
And I would say that we become helpful after 30 births.
Okay. Interesting.
Like, and maybe we're helpful before then, but like when I was really at ease and like I wouldn't push in my own body when someone else was pushing,
Right.
it was
Okay.
approximate, like I was getting closer to 30.
Like you're able to distance
Yes.
yourself from
I can be
like
like,
the empathy.
it's about you.
Yeah, exactly.
You are in labor. I'm not in labor.
Yeah.
You know, when I remember first maybe at 20 births or so, I was just like, oh, like I hope she's fully, but no, like her
Yeah.
body needs time. I just wanted the pain to be gone.
Okay.
And that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Her body needs time.
Yeah.
So like anyway, I had to make it a lot less about me, obviously, and then make it about her.
Like through the years, you found that you've made it more. It's always been about them.
Yeah.
Instead of
it needs to be.
It needs to be. Yeah, exactly.
And
your attention is fully out onto them.
yes, exactly.
So they can be
It's
in
not
their
about
full.
my emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about if she's making noise, it's not about my comfort or discomfort about that. It's remembering she's having a baby and how wonderful it is that she feels comfortable to open her throat, to express herself. She's becoming a mom. She's going to need to use her voice a hell lot more than before. You know, she's going to have to advocate all the time for this child and for her relationship, for her family. And there's also like the energetic relationship. But even if you don't believe in this energy thing, like it's just the truth. An open throat is an open cervix. So
Yeah, I said that in the last episode.
oh my gosh, you did it? Oh my
The open mouth, open fanny.
Oh, well, that's a different way of like, so yeah, like that's in my world, I like it's the cervix that has to open.
Yeah, exactly.
The vagina also has to open too. So, one time I went to a birth and sometimes we can hear the women in labor because we choose to be in institutions where other people are in labor. And so we overhear them. And they were like, after the babies, I feel bad for the woman. And going, it's the thing that I used to do when I was starting out, you know, I wanted to be over for her. And then one time there was just, and there is a client of a different culture. She was young, you know, like young for today's age.
Right,
like when we have babies today, she was just like, that mom's having a baby. How wonderful.
Oh,
Like, you know, like it's just like coming back to reality. We don't know what she's feeling.
exactly.
She feels good expressing herself. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to go in with that. And like if you're being induced, if you choose to be induced, if you have good reasons or whatever, less evidence-based reasons to be induced, like bring earplugs. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So because there's a lot more than just women booming in their labors.
Oh no, that those noises are primal.
Yeah. But those ones are primal and they're low kind of noises. But in the hospital, there's also footsteps running. There's codes.
Oh yeah, some like beeping.
Because you haven't been to a hospital. So
yeah, I've never did.
There's like there's doors slamming. There's like so it's just. And an induction can be long, so just prepare yourself, like to like not take things personally that's happening in another room or in the hallway, or
right.
You know, so like if we choose to be in that environment, then we just need to be prepared. Yeah.
And then what would you say about the birth center?
The birth center, data wise and equipment wise, would be the same as home birth. The difference is that you have to have your car seat ready, and you're going to get into your car 2 times.
Right.
Yeah. So the same reasons for a transfer exist, whether you're at the birth center or home birth. I like just my penchant, like in my heart, like I really believe it in letting women do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But you know, the Cadillac of birth, it really is home birth because it makes it's so different to not have the women get into the car.
Well, and I found now reflecting back on my first birth, I feel like that transitioning from my home to the birth center changed my
your brain has to turn on.
Yeah.
Your focus has to be outwards now.
Yeah.
And then your cortisol increases, then your oxytocin decreases, then labor stops progressing as well. So what I tell in my classes, I was like, to the partners, this is like a thing I say to the partners. I was like, okay, imagine like the environment you want to create for her is the environment you're going to create, that you do create when you're about to have sex. You need to turn her brain off. You need to make sure that she is okay, that she's not worrying about her work.
Yeah.
That for everyone that's different. So for me, it's sound is huge for me.
Yeah, and light.
And light, yeah. So, but if it's sunshine, I can relax in sunshine.
Oh, for me, it was during the night for
oh,
both
yeah,
times.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know.
So it really, like, we're all different. Like, imagine if I heard someone's pager in labor. That's just how one of the things I would do for advocacy. Like, it's just, I would tell my midwives, because I also have a penchant to get a midwife because I am one.
Yeah.
But like, no judgment there. If you can't get, or if you want someone else, that's totally fine. There's amazing physicians out there who love their job and they wish they were midwives. So, like, they're nerds and they want to give you information.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you want a nerd.
Yeah.
But like, I would tell my care providers, like, I can't hear the pager when I'm in labor. Like put it on vibrate. That's not gonna turn my brain on. And but so yeah, those are the things. Like, imagine like having sex and having to transfer it to the car. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm saying,
But it just shocks you a little.
yes, it's just like,
it takes you out of that mood.
What can you do during that transition?
Yeah.
If you have to, and if you want to, what can you do to make it better? So like, I have things like, I recommend putting the red glasses on. Maybe that would be helpful. Maybe it'll be putting on the nice tunes in the car. Like whatever it is when you're in the hospital, like, think about the hospital lights. All LED,
Well, that's
and it's illegal. It would be like wrong for the hospital to dim the lights for you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know where you're walking.
Yeah.
So so it's all these things that we need to prep for: understanding your body, reducing the fear factor, like this flight or flight, starting as early as you can. And if you're a mom, like, think about your 4-year-old daughter. Like, think about how you're preparing her for her birth. And if you're pregnant, how are you preparing yourself for your birth? Like, where's your fear factor? And if you're telling yourself, oh, this isn't effective, no, it is. Like, in your mind, your subconscious mind is listening to everything that you're hearing, and you think that this outcome that someone had is a bigger reality than what it is. You can just easily tell your friends, like, hey, look, I'm pregnant. I want to hear your birth story, but I'm going to do that after I've had my baby.
Yeah.
It's easy, and they understand. Like, they've been pregnant too. They're going to honor that. And if they don't honor that, like, are they really a friend?
That's a boundary.
Yeah. Are they really a friend? Are they really
exactly.
helpful? Like, go hang out with your friends that are empowered by their birth, and it's not the outcome of the birth that empowers them. It's what did they do to empower themselves?
Yeah, because somebody can have a really empowered birth, even if shit went sideways. They had to end up in a induced C-section, everything.
If you are participating in your care and you ask the questions to your care provider, and you've done your own reading so that you can like, get deeper in it, then you're gonna feel very differently about your birth. Yeah, so the support. So like, when it comes to having an empowered birth, like a birth that you feel really wow about, like, oh, I made this. I made this, baby.
I made this.
Like, like, I carried this. Like, my cervix held on to this baby and held it in. Just think about how crazy that is. Support is one thing, and that's not support from just your partner. It's support from your care providers. If you have a pregnancy, you might have a risk factor. Maybe you have 5 risk factors, and you say, like, this is what I want, and your care provider says, I really support you in having that, and I know that you can. And because we now work in teams now, so the person that you have may not be, or maybe unlikely be at your birth,
right?
But ask about the care team. What is the C-section rate for the hospital? Do your care providers want to offer me the choices that you are offering me? How realistic is that? So those are really important questions that you have to ask, so that you're not surprised when you go in and you get assessed, that you have a different care provider in front of you who's like, I don't agree with this plan. That's
Well,
not
and
right
that's
in
it.
labor.
Because I was going to say, can't you just change care providers if you don't, if you feel the EBGBs with that person, you're not comfortable, you're not vibing with this person, you're like,
Yeah.
I need to find somebody
Yeah.
else.
And then there are some places where, in Ottawa, we have 4 hospitals. So you get to change if, there's a hospital who has a C-section that's way too high for your heart. It's like, nah, it's not. No, like if that matters to you, if there's an example, you can switch to another one. What's the epidural rate? Maybe you're someone who doesn't want the epidural. Maybe you are someone who wants the epidural.
Yeah.
So an epidural rate of let's say 80%, which does exist. Those are maybe not nurses who know how to support you as well as, what are the chances of having someone who has a lot of I'm going to do the hip squeezes and
Right.
what are the chances if the hospital has an 80%, epidural rate? If the hospital has an 80% epidural rate, that means that because birth is very normal and there's a lot of fast births. So I would say that the other 20% are coming in they're coming in with their babies. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be, a red flag for someone who doesn't want the epidural. So those are all questions like what matters to you. And, we were talking we were a circle of friends and some of them didn't have babies and some of them did have babies and we all had different birth stories. And then we were talking about delayed cord clamping and some people had no idea that existed.
Or that the cord was even
there and that there's a placenta.
The placenta. Yeah, I didn't even know that placenta.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
So it's just that. It's really important to inform yourself so that it's not brand new information at your birth. How do you do that? That's what I want to help, and I want to translate research so that people understand where the biases are, how to make that easier, how to ask questions about the research, what questions you want to ask your care if you're the nerdy type, because some people are and some people aren't. But if you
if you care about knowing a little bit more.
What are the questions you want to ask that will help you decipher if that research really is truly valid or not? What is the validity in that research? Because there's always some problems, and there's some problems that are bigger than others. And some research, there's even some research I would call advertisement.
Right.
That should be more seen to us as care providers and consumers. We should be able to see that just in the abstract. And it's not right now. We need to change laws around that. And we will by speaking about it. Enough of us will get pissed and be like, because look at one thing that we did. They were trying to change, Health Canada was trying to pass this lab-grown non-meat. And then all of us got mad.
Yeah.
We're like, I want to know the difference between non-meat.
Yeah, because they weren't going to advertise it in the packaging.
Yeah, they weren't going to
say that it was lab made.
Yeah, they weren't going to label it.
Or label, that's what
And so then we all got pissed, and then they were like, oh, the consumers care? Oh.
It's like, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Then they changed, and that's what matters. We have power. The minute you think you have no power, boom.
Yeah.
You're done. In any way. If you think that a politician has more power than you, boom, you're done. You know what I mean? So imagine if I decided to quit midwifery and say nothing. I have no idea what the repercussions of me having this. And I know that I'm the people who speak up to me the most and the first are the people whose feathers I have ruffled. That's fine. I have to stop being such a people pleaser. At the end of the day, I want people to be happy with their care, and I want adverse outcomes to start reducing rather than increasing.
You're embodying your wild.
Fuck yeah. My embodied wild is definitely a very logical in the mind looking at data and stuff like that. But that's also what my power is in some ways. And it's the only thing that's right for me. If I shut myself up and said, I'm not going to do anything about these increased adverse outcome that we are seeing in Canada, and it's drastic. It's drastic in the Western world, and in Canada, it's insane. If I decided not to say anything, I would feel dead.
Yeah.
I would feel dead. So, and I don't have 15 PhDs. I don't need to have 15 PhDs. I have a heart.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are a mom. You're becoming a mom. Holy shit! You don't there's no PhD. You know what I mean? If we're gonna put a hierarchy on something, okay, there's no PhD for that. There's no you can't.
The moms are gonna win.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing I want to put on it's fathers or the partners Fathers, partners, you know that what she's doing when she's reaching down for that baby, that 5-year-old, that teenager, what that child needs. And because we're all made differently, and there's just the mother's brain has been wired entirely differently. How she responds to that baby, how her world has changed. It's insane, right? If you watch it,
Yeah.
and it's the partners who see the difference. They're like, you are a different person. So we need the partners to be like, mothers' lives matter,
Yeah.
We
Well, it's
need.
funny because my husband, after my son's birth, was just like, hands down, you win. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And he's a super supportive partner and stuff. And he's just like, holy crap. Like you guys win. Like women win.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, women don't even care about this hierarchy bullshit.
No, exactly.
It's not about, we're not pushing out babies to prove anything.
No.
And that's even more powerful.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We're not, yeah. So men were like, I'm stronger than you because I can lift. Okay, little child, go back home.
Yeah. I'm like that. You can't push a baby out.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's it's so much more. It's what we do with it. And, I can explain that a uterus, imagine, so a uterus doesn't, my uterus is not preparing for birth right now.
Right.
I'm not pregnant. So, but when it comes to the down to it, if I ever do have a child, that uterus can put 100 pounds of pressure to push that baby down without practice. And imagine what your cervix is doing holding that baby. And that's a muscle. No practice. I don't need to have had a baby first to have a baby a second time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I need to lift weights with my cervix.
Yeah. So exactly. Nobody needs to do that. We actually need to do the opposite.
Yeah.
We need to do the reverse Kegel when we're pregnant.
Oh, honestly, the perineal massage was what saved me.
Yeah.
For both births.
Did you tear?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So there are care providers who tell women there's nothing you can do to prevent your.
No, I did that fucking massage religiously, and that is hands down what saved me.
I swear. So I started telling everyone about the peace sign stretch, and then it became a very big advocate for pelvic floor physiotherapy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Reverse Kegels, because those are the things that I can teach.
I was using the wand to stretch out and it was fun too. So
you can learn so much about your body.
Exactly.
We are a society that believes in contraction. We believe that what we need to do is go, 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 which is so I'm going to work out and I'm going to stay in a contraction the entire time. But no, in labor, it's so important to
soften.
That when your uterus is not contracting, that rest in between is very important. We are a society that believes in progress and go and more and linear and this move up, up, up. And so labor does the opposite. It really shows us that the in between the contractions is really important. As women's bodies, we know that we need to rest to be productive.
Oh, yes.
If we don't, we're a little chipped up. Snap, And there's Shervin that I follow. I forget his Shervin Jafarafa. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But he was just like, women are not little men with hormones. Thank you. We're so different from one another.
We are.
And how beautiful is that? And the more that I work through my shadow and I step away and I look at the culture that we've created together, and then I look at what my parents did. My mom is the one that picked us up when we were crying. And I'm not saying that this is wrong or right, but it was right for them. And my father was more of the provider, naturally. There wasn't okay, you are going to put the garbage out because that's the man thing or the woman thing to do. I don't know what's man or woman, but I'm just saying, what came easier for my mom, she did. What came easier for my dad, he did. And they, they're not together anymore, but they appreciate so much what the other person did that what didn't come easy to them. We actually know now. So the parenting experts are saying that there's one parent, and it's usually the one who was pregnant, who, when a child cries, we know how to deal with this child that's crying. That's not overwhelming to us. We want, like, it's innate in us. We want to go pick up that child. Like, we're just, whew,
Yeah.
it's easy.
It is.
We know what to
Because
do.
I'm like that. Because I noticed just the relationship with when my kids are crying, I'm the one who goes to them, and my husband is a little bit less attuned to that.
Because it's more overwhelming for his brain and for him.
Yeah.
And
And
then
he's not like that nurturing.
Yeah, what we call nurture. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing that, like, the non-pregnant person, or like I'll say the more masculine or the man in the relationship, depending, whatever your relationship looks like, is just that it's easier for that person to say, no, you're going to eat.
Yeah.
To deal with the anger in the child, and the child's like, I'm pushing all the boundaries right now, and I'm gonna have a temper tantrum until I get what I want. No, and that's hard. Like, that's so overwhelming for someone like me, who, like, nurture comes easier than setting boundaries. Like, it's so hard.
Right.
And for so many women, it's so hard. But it's not about manipulating these things. It's about using these things to our advantage. And the parenting experts say that the child needs both. And it doesn't matter if the child has two parents. There's other people in
the village.
Yeah, in the village that can help and be that other person.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just a thing that I've just been noticing and appreciating, the things that are deeply feminine and the things that are deeply masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't talk about that in my course, but I have an appreciation for it, and I have such an appreciation for women and what they do. And, like, seriously, like, every birth I have been called to has blown my mind.
Because, how many births have you done?
Like, approximately 1,000.
Yeah.
So I actually don't know, but at a certain point, I was like, I've been to exactly 1,000 births. So, like,
and then you don't remember when that point was.
Yeah. So about 1,000, and I have to say, like, women are so impressive. And if people saw what I saw, the world would be different.
Yeah.
So.
So what change or impact are you creating now with your course? How can people work with you?
So right now, I'm my first course is I'm going to put in all the tools for what can help you in labor, what the evidence is for different reasons for induction, what the evidence is for C-section. I'm just going to put all the evidence there, and then I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, I want you to go, we have to go inwards. I might tell you there's no evidence for this thing. I still want you to do what is right. And if it's that thing that I'm saying that has no evidence for, I still want you to do it. So it's really not about telling people what to do. It's saying the person at the grocery store or your sister that's telling you to do this, they don't, they need their education. And I just want you to just sit with what is right for you. With the data, what is the data showing us, and then I'm comparing it to like my experience, and I'm like, okay, this evidence shows this, and this is not what I saw in practice,
right?
And then those are the things that I show you that you can ask your care provider to get more of the information. Like, is this research, is this data, how is this biased? I make it I do my best to keep it as simple as I can, and my clients are so smart. It's incredible. I put research in front of them, and they just they pick it up. Don't think you're not smart. No.
Yeah.
And I had clients who, the people who were more likely to judge. I had clients who, were homeless, drug using in the pregnancy, all these different things. And you know what? They impressed me too. They were able to sit with me and absorb what I was saying and have really thorough discussion and about their choices. They're capable. You are capable. Don't think you're not smart. And math in high school, who cares? That's not the indicator for your smartness.
Yeah.
Whatever people think makes you smart.
Yeah. It's funny. I failed math in 10th grade.
Yeah, and then
and look at me now.
That's not a poll.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just whatever you've labeled yourself as, like all of that's going to change when you become a mother if you give yourself that permission. And if you don't give yourself that permission, you have squashed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be open to your strength. That does not mean having a birth without an epidural. Does not mean that you have to have a vaginal birth. That's not it.
So what does your course look like? Is it in person or is it live,
So
online?
I'm recording right now online, and there's gonna be some sections to it. And so it's just like what does birth look like? What are all the options that can be helpful in labor? What are the interventions? What happens to the baby after birth? What are your options with that? Feeding your baby? How can you recover well in labor? So that's gonna be my first course, because it's the easiest one for me to do right now. And then later on, I hope to move on to one in pregnancy and all the tests that are offered to you, because being handed a requisition, be like, go do this at the lab, without knowing what the test is, without knowing how that's going to impact your pregnancy, if it comes out positive, negative, and not all tests are positive, negative, but that you can start advocating for yourself, like in your pregnancy, be like, okay, so like this is the test for this. What does it mean if the result is this or this or this or this or this? And your care provider is being paid to have that discussion with you. And right now, the only place to find me is on Instagram for like public people, and no website is being built for me. So that will be on my Instagram. That will be on your
Put in the show notes.
Yeah. That's coming up. So
amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Actually, okay. So I actually see repeatedly that people do something very different with their third babies. It's like they learn from their first, and then they learn again from their second, and then with their third birth, they just mastered it.
Oh, okay.
There's something, and then they want to tell the whole world about it. Like there's something. So what is it that you learned that you would either repeat with the third baby, or you would change, or is this something like in your heart, this really helped me and I would do it again?
I don't know if it makes a difference because I had a boy and a girl. I guess just knowing that that babies make noise, like newborns are so loud. I remember with my first, we had him in the co-sleeper in the bed, and holy crap, I couldn't sleep because it was just making like squirrel noises. And we had to put him, I think I was like 3 weeks old. I was like, you're going in the other room, buddy, with the camera on. And then the second time, she wasn't as loud, but she was still making some noises. I think she stayed in her bed, or in a bassinet beside her bed for many months, actually. But what I would probably do with a third one, because my son, he found his thumb at like 3 months old, and then he was sleeping through the night, no problem. But then with my daughter, she was not wanting to sleep. Even now at almost 4, she's like, still has a hard time going to sleep. But we had gotten a sleep consultant, and I feel like that was worth the money to get. We didn't do the cry it out or anything. It was just like there's different techniques and different ways to approach how the going to sleep and stuff. But that helped a lot. So
Did she have different options? Did this person have different options on how to approach it? Or is it a one way kind of?
Well, it was a caring way. Like she wasn't advocating for the crying it out, just let your baby cry themselves to sleep. It was more like, your baby is gonna be upset the first time that, let's say, if she wakes up in the middle of the night, she wants milk. At around 6 months, she was like, oh, she probably doesn't need milk overnight. She'll be fine. So, or I forget what age exactly, but she was like, at this point, they should be fine to go overnight without a feeding. But she's going to want it because she's used to it. You've been doing this every night. Maybe she wakes up multiple times a night. You're feeding her, breastfeeding her, whatever. And just know that first time you take it away from her, she's going to be fucking pissed. Mm-hmm. And so she is going to be angry and she's going to cry a lot. But it's knowing that, okay, check the diaper, check everything. Like, is she okay otherwise? Yes. Then it's like you can stay there and let her cry, but it's because you know that she's just upset. And then at that point, it's like, it's okay that she's upset. It's okay to hold space for her, even as under a year or whatever it is. Right. So, and that's how you develop later, like the relationship to the emotional aspect of things and how to care for that when they're upset. It's not just, oh, okay, you're upset. Let me, let's stop that. You don't need to be upset. I feel bad for you. Here, have some milk. It's like, no, it's okay that you're upset. And I'm here to support you through this. And I'm here to help you regulate and ground you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There's like three things you're talking about, like breastfeeding, the emotional
yeah.
stuff, and then sleep. So like, and if people like, depending what's important for the listener, for sleep, Dr. James McKenna is a researcher who spent his entire life looking and researching how people sleep, like how families
Mm,
sleep. So if you want to just learn about the data of like what's safe sleeping and what to do with a child, and he also leans into your intuition.
mm,
And because there's a lot of fear around SIDS and how to prevent it and things like that. He doesn't believe in a one size fits all. People who don't believe in one
yeah.
size fits all, I have such a higher respect for them.
Yeah.
So that's where I would tell the listener to go to if that's what they want to look into. The emotional stuff, like the parenting experts, the one that I follow is Erica Kosamar, but there are lots of other people that can help
Mm-hmm.
with kind of holding space for our child,
Mm-hmm.
without disappearing, like without being
Yeah.
avoidant.
Well, that's it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And then the other one is breastfeeding. So like, uh, so how can you ask your care provider if they can help with breastfeeding or not? And then knowing like, okay, like, so if for you, like breastfeeding and having an easier time with that is important to you, then what can you do? So some care providers have very low exclusively breastfeeding rates after discharge, just discharge, like 24
Right.
hours later. And some people have very low at 6 weeks, and some people have very high. And so so if it's important to you, you have to ask that question before, so that if it's very low, then you're gonna get yourself a lactation consultant.
Mm.
Yeah, because that's the person to go to.
Mm.
And then the earlier you can have that, and then you have that information before you have your
Yeah.
baby. That's so much easier, because when you're sleep deprived and what then and then you can even get your lactation consultant to see you at the hospital. So you start off really well. She can come during the day. Maybe you delivered at 3 a.m., but she can come at 9 a.m.
Right.
potentially, depending what kind of care she provides. So you can really set yourself up with knowledge beforehand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And now, as we come to a close,
Yeah.
what would be one piece of advice for women who might be pregnant right now listening? What's the first step?
Yeah. I think that it's leaning into intuition more and more. And the way to do that is to observe our fear. You're not going to be perfect at having no anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about labeling it, seeing it, and then working through it. That could be a bunch of things like art and like whatever way you want to work through it.
Yeah.
And it could be your therapist, it could be all sorts of things. Um, and then leaning into, okay, like obviously this really matters to me. So what can I do? What do I really want? What's inside my heart? Like tapping into that.
Mm.
That is like what the heart wants and our intuition. I know that the intuition can be a little bit of a voice and things like that, but they should mesh.
Yeah.
And when I ask someone, so I would assess people to see, like, why is it that you want a home birth? Why is it that you want this? Why is it that you, and then it was just me assessing if they were tapped into their intuition or not.
Right.
It
Because if
wasn't,
it's like, oh, I want a hospital birth because
yeah,
my mother told me I need to,
yeah.
right?
Like because I want, because I think it's safer,
Or, yeah.
um, so if for some people that really does matter, but the way that they answered really told me if it was their intuition or not.
Mm-hmm.
I would like really into your intuition, and surround yourself with moms or other pregnant people, or family members, like whoever that like helps you tap into your intuition more.
Yeah. Just to have that support and that.
Yeah, who just like really emphasizes that's what you want. Wow,
Yeah.
like like just like it's like, and then just
Like
repeat.
no shame, no judgment.
Yeah, it's not about like you doing what I did. You know, it's you doing what really matters to you and understanding what we all need is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lyanne.
Thank you. Let's do this again.
Yeah. We can talk about all the things we can talk about in part 2.
Sentence later. Whatever.
Thanks for listening, and own your energy. If you felt even just a little glimmer inside of your body, subscribe and send this episode to a woman you know that needs to feel this too.